Hello, welcome to Living and Learning. My name is Allison Kinnear, and Living and Learning is every Wednesday afternoon at 3 p.m. I hop onto Facebook Live and do a little short video about living and learning. This used to be called Late Night Snack, and I used to do it late at night at 9 p.m., but I have since moved the time a little bit earlier, so now I get to meet you at 3 p.m. So today we are going to be talking about things coming to an end, when things kind of complete or come to an ending. I know for most people, you might think of this happening at the end of the calendar year, like in December, when the calendar year comes to an end. But for me, maybe because of the many decades that I was a teacher, well, not many decades, but many years that I was a teacher, I often think about the school season, and this is a time of year when things come to an end, as most schools are coming to an end. Hi, Allie, welcome, and hello to whoever else is watching. If you want me to say hi to you, just leave a comment down below. So when I was thinking about the end of when things thinking about things ending or things coming to closure, I often think about Tuckman's model of group development. For those of you who don't know, this is a very common model that's talked about in the business world about how groups of people come together and the stages of development that occur afterwards. Oh, hello, Tammy. Hi, welcome. So Tuckman's model goes like this. There's 5 stages, and the first stage is the forming stage. Now this applies in the business world, but it also applies in any kind of interpersonal relationship. So the forming stage is when a group is just coming together, and maybe there's a little bit of checking each other out, seeing, do I fit in here? How is this going to be? How's this group going to come together? A little bit of hesitancy. So that's a forming stage. This is followed quickly by the storming phase. The storming phase is stormy, as it indicates, and it's kind of like the honeymoon is over. There might be competition for resources or competition for like things going at odds. There might be disagreements about how problems should be approached. And then hopefully the team moves through the storming phase into the norming phase. The norming phase is the third stage, and that's basically saying, okay, based on who's here, based on the problems that we have, based on the disagreements that we have, what are we going to agree to? How are we going to move forward? What are going to be our norms? How are we going to agree upon moving forward? After the norming stage, hello, Charles. After the norming stage is the performing stage, which hopefully a group gets to. It's like, okay, we've decided what the norms are. We've decided how we're going to move forward. Now let's see what's coming next. Like, let's perform. Let's go out there and like do great things and like make things happen in a really great way. So it's the performing stage. Now, I'm going to pause right here before I share the 5th stage, which is about things coming to an end. But this happens in the workplace, right? Like groups form together, then there's a stormy phase. Hopefully it moves on to norming, and then you can do great things. But this also happens in a family. I think about when a new baby is born. It's kind of like there's the forming stage where you're kind of like, okay, who is this new child? And everyone's rearranging themselves. Then there's a storming phase where we're kind of like, oh, what's going on here? This is different than what I'm used to, or this is a different kind of child than I had before. Then there's a little bit of a norming stage. Yes, I may be only getting 2 hours of sleep, but this is the new normal. And then after a while, it's like, okay, wait a second, I can anticipate some needs and I can go a little faster, right? Like you have that performing stage. So this forming, storming, norming, and performing occurs in both the business world, but it also occurs in our personal world. It occurs when we date someone new and bring them home for other people to meet. It occurs in lots and lots of anytime a group comes together. But there's a 5th stage, which Tuckman calls adjourning, Adjourning. Oh gosh. Or another way that he puts it is mourning, not like morning and afternoon, but mourning, like mourning as in sadness, Mourning. So there's this fifth stage that comes, which is like our mourning period. It's like people may be leaving, the project may be coming to an end, our babies might be turning into toddlers. There's this period where things tend to change from their original shape to something different. And this was what struck me this past week, because on Monday I volunteered for the last time in my daughter's third grade classroom, and I've been going once a month to her classroom. And you know, in the beginning, everyone was kind of new. It's like, oh, I don't know, how's this year gonna go? And then there was a little bit of a stormy phase of like kids not really knowing what they were doing and the teacher readjusting herself to the kids. And then the norming and the performing. I mean, this third grade year has been just so incredible, both for my kids and all the kids in the classroom. The teacher and the children have all come together in this really beautiful way. And when I was leaving, I felt myself feeling really sad. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know this is my daughter's year, but I'm having sadness too. And I know my daughter's having sadness. She's already talked about how she doesn't want the school year to end. And I went, oh yeah, that's right. Tuckmans Model. Well, I'm in the mourning stage. And so I had the idea of sharing this with my daughter, and saying, you know, look, there's this person who kind of named the phases of development. It's easy enough for an 8-year-old to understand, and she did. And, you know, I think we, particularly in our society, don't really make room for sadness. When sadness comes up, we tend to shove it down or push it away. And there's something that really, when we do that, you know, for the people who do shadow work, they would say you're pushing that emotion into the shadows. And while it might not be out in front of you, it's following you wherever it goes. And everyone can see that shadow or feel that shadow, experience that shadow. So part of our work becomes to take what we've maybe pushed aside and really to not just recognize that there's sadness, but to acknowledge it, to witness it, to get curious about it, and just to be with it. This is how we honor that mourning stage, that adjourning stage, that time of ending. Because the last thing we want to do is push it aside and then carry it with us into the new school year, carry it with us into the next team and go, well, it's not, you know, you're not as great of a teacher as last year's, or this, I don't know if this team is really going to work. You know, that's what unacknowledged sadness looks like. And I'm feeling this personally as a mom, but I think we also experience it in the workplace. I know of one of my clients, they really came together. They worked through some hard times together, but now there's people on the team peeling off and going to other teams. And it's like, we have to shine a light on that sadness that is there. It's a natural part of that development. And yes, Richard, when we feel, we heal. Exactly. When we're feeling, we're healing. And so I just want to invite you, if there are things that are coming to an end, coming to a closure around either your kids or yourself, things are moving to that adjourning stage, I just invite you to take a moment and step into any kind of sadness that might be waiting there for you. Whether it's sadness that your kids are graduating from high school or graduating from college or graduating from kindergarten or graduating from preschool, or if there's just changes that are happening in your life where something is coming to an end and a new thing is beginning, to really honor and bless and be grateful for the gifts that great performing team or that great performing group of people brought to you, so that you can meet whatever is coming up next with a fresh heart and fresh mind. And hello, Charlene. I love our Wednesday meetings as well. Thank you, Tammy. Hello, Ben. Hello, Lauren. Hello, Richard. Hello, Serena. And yes, Richard, you're closing up your life in Phoenix. You know, a big move happening when you're saying goodbye to a chapter in your life. You know, anytime we move, anytime we change roles, anytime we change homes, there's a piece of us, you know, that chapter in our life created had a bit of creating who we are. So to be able to honor it and say thank you, and to have any sadness that might come up so that we can meet our next chapter. That's what I have for you today. For the month of June, I really want to focus on boundaries, but I felt like as I was looking at my Facebook and seeing all of these beautiful people graduating and last days of school and feeling this myself as a mama, I wanted to really take a moment just to acknowledge that mourning piece and in Tuckman's model and how it impacts us in a real way in our lives. So, but next week we will be talking about boundaries. Anyway, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week of living and learning, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.